What is up, everybody? How are we doing? Hey, Mads. Yes, first. So we're doing Zion Foster, the afternoon session of today. We're only a couple hours behind. We're finally we're finally getting to the medical examiner. So that's going to be really interesting to see what they have to say. Hopefully David can pop in sometime. But if not, then we'll just do it solo. Do.
Record. If there's an objection, please stop typing. So resolved. Please keep your voice up. If you would please state your name and spell.
Felicia Jackson, Felicia Jackson, Jackson.
Boo.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, could you tell the jury what you're currently ruling?
I am a forensic technician for the Detroit Police Department, Forensic Services Unit.
And how long have you been a forensic technician for the Detroit Police
God, the sound is bad.
And
Let me see, guys. Hold on one sec. I'm sorry.
what are your just sort of general duties in that role?
So we get called out to scenes and we process them by documenting the evidence, collecting the evidence.
Can you guys
And as part of
let
your
me know
role,
if you can hear
do you
it?
have involvement in a landfill search?
I did.
And what was your role in that search?
I was to photograph the progress of the search.
And how long were you involved with that search?
I was there from day one.
Okay. And I am holding what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibits 58. Is it your understanding that this disc contains the photos that you took of the search?
Yes, sir.
And would it be fair to say that those photos fairly and accurately depict what you observed in connection with the search?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move to admit proposed to the 58.
No objection.
Thank you. May I publish? In addition to taking the photos, did you have any other sort of role in connection with the landfill search?
Not in connection with just the photos. Yes.
Okay. And I just want to walk through some of these photos. Obviously, there's quite a few of them. Is that correct?
Yes, I think that's
Trying to see if I can find another feed.
And, do these photos reflect different dates or the same date?
They're all different dates from the day that we started to how it looked initially and
Damn.
the progression of each day that we were there, what it looked like after the searches were done. I usually took photos only
Okay.
on Sundays
Thank you,
at
Underwood.
the end of our week. So what was done during that entire week.
Okay, and looking at this first page of the exhibit, page 1, what are we sort of looking at here?
So this is an ID shot. This is what we take before every crime scene to distinguish it from the previous crime scene. So this shows that this is the beginning shot of this crime scene. So this is just showing the initial information that I was given and the date and the time.
And so what would be the date of this sort of section of photos?
So this is May 25th, 2022.
Okay, and if we go to page 3, what does page 3 depict?
That's just an overall photo of what the landfill looked like before we started, the searchers started digging.
Okay, and what sort of things were going on in this early part of the dig that you observed?
This was just a general photo of what it looks like before they came out.
1.25.
That we were going to be looking at.
I'll turn it to fast.
Okay, so would this be the area that was ultimately dug, but sort of undisturbed at this point?
Correct.
Okay. Want to scroll down. To slide 35, actually 36. What does slide 36 signify in sort of the full scope of this set of pictures?
So this is just a photo of the back of the ID
Thank you.
shot that I took, but it's just showing that it's a different date. So I wanted to use the same ID shot to show that it's still the same scene, but just a different date.
Okay, and what's the date now at this point that we're looking at?
May 27th, 2022.
Okay, and go down to slide 53. What are we looking at here?
So this is a part of where we were digging, but this is where they were starting to build a road they were starting to landscape a road for us to make it easier for our vehicles to go up and down.
Let me look into it, Mads.
Our vehicles weren't necessarily equipped to do this type of travel. So it is to put some gravel down so that we could easier travel up and down the hill.
Okay, and so this, you see this sort of area right here where my cursor is toward the middle of the photo. What would that signify?
Just the outlining of where the road was going to be laid out.
Okay. And then if we continue to scroll down, starting with slide 70, what does this signify at this point?
So this is the back of the ID shot showing that.
Are they plugins?
I was taking photos on June 6th, 2022.
Okay, and then if we go to slide 71, what does that show us?
This is starting when they first started digging. So this is the excavator.
Thank you so
picking
much.
up Trash to move it so that the searchers can start searching through the trash.
Okay, and so this phase in early June, that would be consistent with just the very beginning of the dig, is that correct?
Yes, it's the very beginning.
What
Um,
do you know the name of it? I'd like to look into that.
just want to move on to slide 115. What does that signify at this point?
That we were photographing on June 15th, 2022.
Okay, and then if we go to slide 118, what does that show us?
This is after the searchers were done digging, just a photo of what it looked like that day.
Okay. And when you say done digging, do you mean done digging period or just done digging?
Just for the day. I would go up there once they were done for the day.
Okay.
Thank you.
And if we continue going down.
I'm using Edge right now, but I can use Chrome just as easily.
Just as an example, you see in some of these slides from 168 through 175, what are we looking at this point?
These were items recovered from the searchers digging through the trash. They were just bones. They were determined to not be human, but they were still sent off. The photos were sent off to the anthropologists to verify, and they were determined to not be human.
Okay.
But they were still photographed.
And then if we go to 176, what does that indicate?
Our photos for June 17th.
Okay. And at this point, just again by way of example, 179, are we looking at more animal bones at this point?
Correct.
I believe they did.
And
Yeah, I believe there was some testimony about cadaver dogs.
we scroll down to 209.
there-
What does
kinda-
that tell us at this point?
These are photos from June 19th.
The science is a
2022.
little out there, I think. They're not as reliable as one would think.
Just looking
Because the
at
dog simply
slide
wasn't pleased with the
214,
owner,
what
with the
does that
master.
show?
Just an overall photo of what it was looking like in the area that they were digging.
Okay, that would be on.
Yeah, I'm looking
on
into that right
specific
now.
date in June.
Yes.
We go down to slide 241. What's the next date that we have?
We have June 26th, 2022.
Okay, and look at as an example, slide 244. What is in 245? What are these stakes that are depicted there?
So they're markers just to show where the excavator was actually digging that particular day, and we would put the date on it so that we could use it in relation to the next day and go back.
Okay. And if we go to slide 250, what does that show us?
It's just an overall photo of what it looked like that day during the day.
Okay. just continuing to scroll down to slide 282. What's the next date that we're looking at here?
July 3rd, 2022.
And looking at slide 293, what does that show?
Just an overall photo over the area that the excavator was digging for that day.
Okay. And as the excavator is digging, is there anything that you're doing to take measurements?
Yeah, so the stakes that we were putting in the ground with the dates on them, we would try to measure from each stake. Some days the excavator was digging in the same spot, so there was no need for a measurement because it was in the exact same spot as the day before. But we would take measurements from each stake as we could. And then we had a laser measurement that we would take from wherever I was standing to the bottom, and wherever it would hit on, we would take that measurement.
And as you're out there looking in this area, how big visually did this area appear to be to you?
It was massive.
Just looking at 294, is that just another image sort of from the same area
Yes, sir.
on the same day?
Yes, sir.
Hey,
And,
Christine. How are you?
let's scroll down to
Hope you're well.
325. What would be the next date here?
July 10th, 2022.
And just looking at 330, would that be just sort of an example from that date?
Yes.
And 333, what's the next date we're looking at?
July 14th, 2022.
And just the 335 would be the significance of that.
So this was money that was found inside of a book as the searchers were searching. So we put that on safekeeping just because we don't want to just leave that.
Okay.
But
And
it was not related to the case. It was just a safekeeping effort.
and how about 336? What's the next date that we're at here?
July 17th.
And if we go to 347, what does that show us?
I'm slightly looking downward into a pit that the excavator had been digging, I believe, 2 or 3 days. They've been digging that spot.
What's that, Christine?
And 352, what's the next date that we're at?
July 24th.
And 363, what does that show?
Just an overall photo of what the area looked like that the excavator had been digging in.
And about 370, what does that show?
That shows the area that the excavator had been digging in. This is a few weeks in, so it's quite a bit that had been dug out at this point.
Now, when the trash is dug up, is it brought to a particular location to be sorted through? How does that process work?
Yeah, so the excavator would put it into a dump truck, and the dump truck would take it over to the deck where the searchers would be, and would try to flatten it out, lay it out as easily as possible. The searchers would go through it with metal rakes and open every single bag and go through all of it.
And looking at slide 378, what date are we at now?
July 31st, 2022.
And if we go to 396, what does that show us?
Just an overall photo of what the area looked like.
I'm not sure if he has gotten a lawyer yet.
Go to 404, what's the date now?
August 7th, 2022.
We can see.
If we look at
Try to ask.
421, does that illustrate the date at that point?
Yes,
And how about 422? What's the date at this point?
August 14th, 2022.
And what does 425 show us?
I was trying to point downward to the hole that the excavator had dug at that point.
And how deep is that approximately? At this
I would
point?
have to actually look at my notes, but the depth ranged from 12 feet to I believe 53 feet once we were done, to where I was able to actually safely stand on something and get the measurement. There were some areas that I couldn't stand on.
And go to 435. What's the date at this point?
August 21st, 2022.
And about 437. What does that show us?
An area where the excavator had been digging over the course of this week.
And what's the is there any significance to like, let's say this ridge at the top compared to this area at the bottom?
So we would have received information, the dates would have been better in this area, which is why that area is deeper. So we would have pulled up mail that would have been from whatever dates that they were looking for. So they would have focused on this area more, which is why that area is deeper. So the excavator would have been on top there and just digging in that hole.
And if we go to 443, what's the date at this point?
August 28th, 2022.
And go to 449, what does that show us?
An overall photo of what the area looked like.
Toward the top, what type of vehicle is that?
That's the excavator right there, one of the ones that we were using.
Okay. And show us.
That is, if you can see the chairs in the background there, that's where the searchers were. When they would take a break, they would sit there at the end of the shift. They would put the chairs over, obviously, so they didn't roll away, so they were so high up.
And about 457, what's the date at this point?
September 4th, 2022.
And how about slide 463, what does that show us?
Just another photo of what the area looks like once they were done digging for the day.
I'll ask
And,
Bill
about
Hammer.
Slide 471.
Same, how it was
Uh,
last day.
Good idea.
Area of it.
If you go to 475, what's the date at this point?
September 10th, 2022.
Yeah.
And looking at slide 484, does that again just kind of illustrate where things are at that point?
Yes,
And how about 487?
same thing.
And looking at 490, what's the date at this point?
September 18th, 2022.
And how about page 500?
It's just showing the depth of what had been done, the digging.
Moving to slide 504, what's the date at that point?
September 25th, 2022.
And just looking at 512, is that just sort of an example of how things stood at that point?
Yes,
Moving to page 515, what's the date at this point?
October 2nd, 2022.
And what does page 517 show?
It's just another photo of what the area was looking like at that point from the dig.
Hey,
And moving
how you
to
doing, Dave?
page 531, what's the date of that point?
October 9th, 2022.
And looking at 580, what does that show us?
Just an overall photo of what it looked like at that point.
And was that the last date that photos were taken on?
Yes, sir.
Now, obviously, is it fair to say signs and remains were not recovered during the search?
That's correct.
And what was it like for you?
I have
to be
no
out
idea
there
why they
on a
need
daily
it.
basis?
My day usually started around 8 a.m. I would go to base, get a van,
Pictures of this.
drive out there and see if anybody needed anything, and wait to radio call if I needed to go up to the hill. They were long days, for sure, but everyone there was volunteer. Everyone that was there wanted to be there.
Why did you want to be there?
I really wanted to help the family. I really wanted to get the family some closure. So, and I was asked if I wanted to, and I wanted to the opportunity. I never did anything like this before, so I wanted that opportunity.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Cross-examination?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just 3 questions. Now, as far as your documentation of the dates on
Well, that guy's coming in hot.
that was depicted on these pictures, were these just any significance to these dates, or were they just random dates that you documented on the particular pictures?
So on the ID shots, those were the exact dates that I took those photos.
Okay, so each time you took a new set of photos, you would put a new date?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, while you were there, you were being directed by an individual as far as where to search and certain other instructions?
I was told where they were digging that particular day when I would go up to photograph. Yeah.
Okay. Now, while you were there, did you have this free range when you checked in that particular day of what your particular, I guess, role would be on that particular day?
I knew what I was doing when I got to the landfill every day. Yes.
Every day? Okay. And it would be the same on a day-to-day basis?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
You read, right?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Any questions from the jury? State your name, maybe, just right there.
Thank you.
Your Honor, at this time, the people call Ian McBee.
Oh my God.
Affirm.
Yes.
Thank you. That you are about to give before this court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Definitely, Your Honor. So you'll be asked a series of questions. Wait till each question is fully asked before you respond. You don't have one person talking at a time.
Wow.
Please try to avoid a natural tendency for
What is-
nonverbal answers.
whoa, what is that on his neck?
Good
Lord. Like a Fetterman bulge?
Please stop talking until it's resolved. Please keep your voice up. If you would, please state your name and spell it.
First name Ian, I-A-N. Last name McBee, M-C, B as in boy, E-E.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Trial's never going to end.
Sir, what do you currently do for a living?
I'm employed as a Detroit police officer.
And how long have you been so employed?
Approximately 8 years.
And what is your current role with the Detroit Police Department?
Currently, I'm assigned to patrol operations.
And back in June of last year, 2023, what was your role at that point?
I was assigned to the fugitive apprehension team.
And what is
Sir, you
the
don't have to speak right into the microphone. Just keep your voice up.
Understood, Your Honor.
what were your sort of general duties as a member of the fugitive apprehension team?
It would have been apprehending multiple types of individuals wanted for various crimes, whether on probable cause or individuals that had active arrest warrants.
Okay, and I want to take you back to June 13th of 2023. That particular day, did you take part in a apprehension of somebody?
Yes,
And what time of day was that, if you recall?
it would have been early morning hours.
Okay, and who was it that you were apprehending?
I believe it was a Mr. Jaylin Brazier.
And just for the record, do you see that individual in the courtroom today?
Yes,
And could you point to him and describe what he's wearing?
it's this gentleman is wearing a blue overcoat with a green undershirt and a multicolored tie.
Thank you. If the record could reflect the witnesses identify the defendant.
So reflect.
And when you participated in his apprehension, were you alone or were you with a partner?
I was with a partner.
And who was your partner?
With an Officer Hernandez.
And were the two of you equipped with body on camera?
Yes,
And did we review some footage from you and your partner's body on camera earlier today?
I'm sorry. Yes,
And that footage, does that fairly and accurately depict what you observed back on June 13th, 2023?
yes,
And is it your understanding that that footage is on this disc that I'm holding that's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 59?
it is my understanding.
During the course of apprehending the defendant, did you recover anything of any significance?
Yes,
And what is it that you recovered?
2 cellular devices, 2 cell phones.
Okay. And that's shown on this disc,
Yes.
Proposed Exhibit 59?
I'm sorry, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, I move to amend Proposed Exhibit 59.
No objection.
Hey, Lolita.
Thank you. May I publish?
How you doing today?
And sir, what area were you in when you were dealing with this?
This would have been in Southwest Detroit in the area, as I remember.
Is it okay?
Jesus.
And sorry, what was the area again?
I'm sorry about that. It was in the area of Southwest Detroit, more specifically in the area of Fort and Waterman Street, I believe.
This is you speak better.
Just stay back from me, right? I'll let you know. He's okay.
Are you ready to work, Jaylin? Yeah. Oh no, my bad. You might have did that one, okay? Okay, never mind.
We'll just let you step out.
Pause the video at minute 25 seconds. Was the defendant
you back up.
You said animals? No animals, no dogs.
What are you doing?
Continue real quick. I'll verify your identity, your license, and all that.
We got to figure out who you are, man. Drive around with your license, man, you know? Yeah, I got my
Yeah, I got paperwork. That's your phone, you said? That's your backpack? Yeah, he just doesn't have a license.
I have my license in the bag. Yeah, we're just gonna verify who you are, man. You know what I mean? No, there's. What time do you usually? Get here at 5:00. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna hang this up over inside of the police car. Okay, you're not supposed to use your phone inside of the car. Is that fine? Okay. Go ahead and see from here.
Okay, it's stopping the video at 2 minutes and 23 seconds. After you recovered the two phones, did you do anything with them?
Yes.
And what did you do with them?
They were then turned over to my direct span control supervisor.
And when you say they were turned over, how were they turned over?
Physically, I walked over to my sergeant who was present at the time and handed him both devices.
Okay, and what was that person's name?
Sergeant Baum.
Okay. And I'm holding what's been marked as proposed exhibits.
Am I really
60,
soft? I
61.
turned my volume down earlier.
Do you remember, I guess, what the phones look like that you recovered?
Vaguely, yes, sir.
Okay. And can you take a look at what's been marked as proposed exhibits 60 and 61?
I'm gonna turn me up a little bit.
This
Let me
is-
know.
Okay, yeah, look at 60 first. Does 60 at all look familiar to you?
Yes.
Is it consistent or inconsistent with one of the phones that you recovered that day?
Consistent.
Okay, and take a look at 61 too. And again, is 61 consistent or inconsistent with one of the phones that you recovered?
Consistency.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, David.
Good afternoon, officer.
Good afternoon, sir.
Now, you stated that you seized 2 separate mobile devices from Mr. Brazier on this day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as far as your memory serves you, these are the 2 devices, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you stated that you were part of the fugitive apprehension team, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you're given a particular task to, I guess, arrest somebody, you're not giving any details as far as the investigation, whether or not they've spoken with detectives before, correct?
It varies, sir. In this particular incident, I don't recall if we were briefed on any portion. I don't recall, honestly.
Okay. So you wouldn't know whether or not if Mr. Brazier had spoken to detectives before and was released multiple times prior to your particular role in this case, correct?
Again, sir, I don't recall in this particular incident if I was aware of any details leading up to the arrest.
Okay. Would you have that information? Would you document that information in your notes or your police report?
Not that specifically, no. So it wouldn't be something that would be included on a run sheet or.
Okay. And during this encounter with Mr. Brazier, he was cooperative with you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you were able to, of course, verify his identification, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Any questions from the jury? Seeing none, thank you.
And at this time, people call Eugene Bomber.
What's going on about?
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you are about to give before this court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you.
Thank you. Proceed to seat at the podium.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sir, it'll be asked to answer questions. Please wait for your questions fully asked before you respond.
Is his name
Fully ask the
Boner?
person talking to your time. Please try to avoid a natural tendency for nonverbal answers, such as shrugging the shoulder, nods of the head, as well as the
Sergeant E.
Translated the record. If there's objection, please stop talking until it's resolved. Please keep your voice up and please state your name and spell.
My name is Sergeant Eugene Bomber, Eugene, last name Bomber, Bomber.
You don't have to speak up in the microphone.
Okay.
Voice up, don't pick up.
Sounds good.
Good afternoon, sir. What do you currently do for a living?
I'm a sergeant with the Detroit Police Department,
And how long have you been with the Detroit Police Department?
coming up on 20 years.
And what's your current role as a sergeant with the Detroit Police Department?
I'm with our fugitive apprehension service team,
Okay.
And how long have you been in that role?
coming up to 3 years.
Back on June of 2023, I'm sorry, June 13th, 2023, did you participate in the apprehension of somebody?
Yes,
And what was the name of that individual?
Jaylin Brazier or Brazier.
Okay. And what was your, I guess, role in connection with that specific apprehension?
During that day, I was in a undercover capacity in an undercover vehicle.
Okay. And so is that common when an arrest is going to be made on an outstanding warrant that there might be an undercover element and officers that are uniformed also as part of the apprehension?
Yes, for my unit, that's commonplace.
Okay. And you said your role, you were undercover at that point.
That's correct.
Who were the, if any, who were the uniformed officers in that particular day?
There was several, including Officer McBee, Ian McBee, and Royer Hernandez.
Okay, and what was the role of Officer McBee and Officer Hernandez?
They were what we call takedown unit.
Okay, and what does it mean to be a takedown unit?
So once we've identified that the person we are looking for is in a vehicle, we would contact a marked patrol car to come and do the actual traffic stop.
Okay, and did you, I guess, make any observations in connection with this particular arrest?
Yes.
And what is it that you observed?
Well, what I observed was after the arrest.
Okay.
So via radio transmission, they notified us that they had the vehicle stopped and that he was in custody.
Okay, and after you received that notification, did you do anything?
Yes, I pulled up near where the traffic stop occurred.
Okay, and did you happen to have any interaction with Officer McBee at that point?
Yes,
And what happened during your interaction with Officer McBee?
he handed me 2 cell phones.
Okay, and I'm holding what's been marked as proposed exhibits 60 and 61. May I approach your honor? Can you take a look at those 2 proposed exhibits, Sergeant?
Is it okay if I open them?
Absolutely. And do those 2 cell phones look familiar to you?
Yes.
And what's your basis of familiarity with those 2 phones?
The iPhone with the black case with the green, it's a black and green case on it. I distinctly remember that one because honestly, I wanted to get it for myself. And it matches kind of my outfit as crazy as it sounds. But the other one, I remember it being a blue cell phone with no case.
Okay. And so would those 2 items be consistent or inconsistent with the 2 phones that you obtained from Officer McBee?
Consistent.
Okay. And when you obtained the 2 phones, what did you do with them from there, if anything?
I immediately met Sergeant McIntyre at the 4th precinct, is a short distance away from where the traffic stop occurred.
Okay. And who's Sergeant McIntyre?
He works at homicide.
Okay. And what did you do when you met with Sergeant McIntyre?
I handed him these cell phones.
No further questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Sergeant.
Good afternoon.
Now, you were in charge of this particular interaction with Mr. Brazier? As far as you were the ranking officer as far as conducting this traffic stop on Mr. Brazier?
No, there was many lieutenants and higher involved.
At the particular scene?
At the scene,
Yes.
there was multiple people. I was just in charge of Officer McBee and Officer Hernandez.
Okay, and you instructed them to effectuate a traffic stop, correct?
They were instructed to do so via radio transmission
By yourself?
by a different UC vehicle.
Okay. Now, are you given any information, any background information prior to conducting this traffic stop and or investigation on Mr. Brazier, such as whether or not he's spoken to detectives at an earlier time in the investigation?
We were not privy to anything like that, just who we're looking for and why they need to be arrested.
Okay. And you are unaware of when this investigation actually initiated, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you wouldn't know the last time Mr. Brazier would have spoken to a detective, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Any questions from Jerry? City Administrator.
Thank you, Your time that people call Sergeant Jameer McIntyre.
I don't know what
Raise your right hand.
we're getting out of them,
You solemnly swear or
to
affirm that the testimony that you are about to give before this court today.
how it benefits
will
the
be true,
state's
the
case
whole
at
truth,
all.
and nothing but the truth. Thank you. Please take your seat. Have a good day.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
So you'll be asked a series of questions. Please wait till these questions are fully asked before you respond. There's only one person talking at a time. Please try to order an answer for non-verbal answers.
Jesse.
Older nods and a half also doesn't know how because those will translate into the record. If there's an objection, please stop talking until it's resolved. Please keep your voice up. If you would, please state your name and spell it.
Yes, sir. My name is Jameer McIntyre, JARMIAREMCENTIRE.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, what do you do for a living?
I am a police officer for the city of Detroit. I have been employed as a policeman for 24 years. I currently hold the rank of sergeant, and I work at the homicide section as part of a supervisor on the homicide task force.
And as part of your role with the homicide task force, were you involved into the investigation into the disappearance of Zion Foster?
Yes, sir.
And as part of your involvement with that case back on June 13th of 2023, did anything significant happen on that day?
Yes, sir. We had a briefing at the second precinct to discuss the strategy of bringing Mr. Brazier into custody and to also execute search warrants and collection of evidence.
Okay, and did you take any role that day in terms of collecting certain evidence?
Yes, I did.
And what did you do specifically?
I met after the communication came over the air that Mr. Brazier was in custody. I met Sergeant Eugene Bomber at the 4th Precinct parking lot where he turned over 2 cell phones to me.
Okay, and when you got those cell phones from Sergeant Bomber, what, if anything, did you do with them?
I recovered them and I drove the phones to headquarters and I placed the devices on evidence.
And when you say you placed them on evidence, what does that mean?
So that means I looked at the devices and entered them into our evidence tracking system. So one, the Apple iPhone that was collected was entered into our tracking system as item 89, and the Motorola cell phone was entered into evidence as item number 90.
Okay. And I'm holding what's been marked as proposed exhibits 60 and 61. May I approach you?
Yes.
Can you take a look at those 2 items and let me know if they look familiar to you?
Yes, sir. So in my hand, I'm holding one Apple iPhone, which is in a black and green protective case.
Okay.
And on the tag, it's item number 89.
And what's the exhibit marking for that?
And it is marked as exhibit number 61.
Okay, and that particular phone, is that one of the phones that you received from Sergeant Bomber back on June 13th, 2023?
Yes, sir.
And does it appear to be in substantially the same condition it was in back when you received it from him on that day?
Yes, sir.
And how about the second item?
Second item is listed as item or exhibit item number 60.
And is there an evidence tracking number associated with that item?
Yes, sir. This is item number 90. It is a blue Motorola cell phone.
Okay, and is that phone, is that one of the phones that you received from Sergeant Bomber back on June 13th, 2023?
Yes, sir.
And does that appear to be in substantially the same condition as when you received it from him that day?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. With that, I move to admit proposals at 60 and 61.
Okay.
And no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Sergeant.
Good afternoon, sir.
Now, you indicated that you play or have a supervisory role in the homicide department.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you basically instruct different homicide detectives of what to do or what not to do in certain investigations. Would that be a fair statement?
When needed, sir. Yes.
Okay. Did you play a supervisory role back in January of 2022?
In 2022?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
On this particular case?
I don't remember if I had much input in the early stages of the investigation. I was more or less monitoring the situation from afar.
Okay. But you were aware that Mr. Brazier, in fact, came into the police station and conducted an interview on January 19th of 2022, correct?
I was aware of that situation, but during that time I was out of town on furlough.
Okay, but you were aware of that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you were also aware that Mr. Brazier had another statement on January 20th of 2022, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're also aware that in June 10th or June, he had another interview, correct? Of 2022.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, whose decision was it to move forward almost or over a year after his first interview?
Whose decision was?
Yeah, whose decision in the Detroit Police Department? Whose decision was that to arrest him on June of 2023?
As far as I know, that would have been with the OIC, and she would have consulted with another supervisor as to how far the case progressed and was there enough probable cause to make an arrest for your client.
Okay. And did you take part in any of those discussions?
There would have been a briefing and it would have been discussed. So at some point I would have been part of the briefing. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as far as search warrants that were conducted, would it be fair that you didn't take a part as far as the earlier searches, such as the residence?
I recall going to the residence, I believe, once for a search warrant and then another time to attempt to serve subpoenas.
Okay. And approximately, do you know when that search happened at the residence?
I don't recall what day it was.
Okay, if you just had to, I guess, estimate.
I wouldn't even pretend to want to do that. So I just know there were several search warrants done, so I couldn't tell you exactly when I went to that location.
Okay, did you review your notes prior to you testifying today?
My notes about what, sir?
When this search would have happened?
No.
You did?
No,
Okay.
I reviewed my report for the evidence that I collected for the case.
Okay. Now, did you collect any evidence from the residence when
No,
the
sir.
search happened?
No, sir.
Okay. But you were present, correct?
I recall being present at one search warrant, yes.
Okay. And do you know if that was the first, second search at the residence?
I do not recall, sir.
Okay. Do you know what items of particular interest were being sought out at that search?
I don't, sir.
You don't? Do you know if any marijuana was found at that particular residence?
I do not know, sir.
Okay. Do you know if any prescription medication was found at that particular residence?
I do not, sir.
Judge, I'm going to object to any further questioning at this. He was obviously called to testify about the recovery of the phone. I think we went over the searches in this case ad infinitum last week. It's outside of the scope of his direct, so I'd ask for this to be shut down on permission rule evidence 611.
And I would disagree. Sergeant testified that he took part in some search warrants. So I think it's fair for me to ask him about those particular search warrants. And just to be clear, you're unsure of whether or not there was prescription medication that was found in this particular residence, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you know if, in fact, that was a target of your investigation to search for prescription medication?
No, sir, I do not know.
Okay. Do you know if it was a target of your investigation to see if marijuana was sought out at this particular residence?
No, sir.
Okay.
Well, let's be clear. It's not my investigation. I assisted with the investigation.
Okay. With the investigation you assisted with?
Yes.
Do you know whether or not that was the target of the investigation to seek out particular marijuana at this residence?
No.
Okay.
And what residence are you referring to? Because you keep saying
Bra-
residence.
At Mr. Brazier's residence.
Okay. So no, sir, I do not know. That was anything of that nature found at Mr. Brazier's residence.
Or sought out?
Or sought out.
Okay, fair enough. And did you know whether or not, strike that, it was in your decision what evidence, say for instance, was swabbed for DNA, correct?
No, sir, I had no input into that.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Sergeant. No further questions.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. Sergeant, just to be clear, when the defendant made his first statement in January of 2022, were you in town or out of town?
I was out of town, sir.
Okay. Did you participate in any searches of his residence that week?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
You stated that you didn't participate in any searches that particular week, but you can't say for sure if it was the next week or the week after that, correct? Because you don't remember, correct?
That is correct.
All right, thank you. No further questions.
Any questions from the jury? Seeing none, reading this.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, you first.
All right, what did I miss? Since Sal has left us, I'll jump in. Hello, Josie. Hello, Lita. Oh, God is here. Welcome.
All right for the jury.
This cameraman has shown the jury so many times. Even
Has
when
he?
he's been instructed, don't show the jury again, he accidentally shows the jury. I'm so glad I pulled it down earlier just before lunch. He showed one very prominent, like the jury members right there.
You may be seated. Recording stopped.
Are they on break now? It's like,
I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, Looks like we got more witnesses.
Yeah, a little bit.
All these witnesses are pointless, in my opinion. I'm trying to figure out like what advantage they would have to the state,
Yeah.
and I'm not seeing anything.
Nothing but the truth.
We arrested
yeah,
him. Okay, here's body cam of us arresting him. How does that help prove the second degree unaliving?
Yeah.
Please try to avoid a natural tendency for nonverbal answers such as shrugs of the shoulder, nods of the head, and all because those will translate into the record. If there's an objection, please stop talking until it's resolved. Please keep your voice up. If you would, please take your name and spell.
My name is Sarah Markle, Sarahmarkel.
Well, you're not wrong, Lolita.
Ma'am, where do you
I'll be back in a sec.
I work for the Detroit Police Department. I'm a detective in our homicide section.
and what is your specific role as a detective in the homicide section?
My role at homicide is to do something called phone extractions.
And what is a phone extraction?
It is the simplest way to explain it is a copy of everything that is in a phone. It's not something that can be done remote. It's something that I have to have at my desk, and that copy is made through special software on my computer from the phone to the computer.
And can you explain to the jury when a copy of a phone is made, what sort of information are you able to look at and obtain from a phone?
So the copy, everything is make and model dependent. So there may be some limitations on different phones, but the copy from the phone is everything that we do on our phones, everything that we have. So that will include the normal stuff that we would expect, the calls, the text messages, contacts, pictures, videos, but the extraction in that exact copy of everything can also include the internet history, the social media, and in some cases deleted information. It's not always deleted from the phone itself. So it's really ultimately trying to do an exact copy of everything contained within that device.
And how long have you been doing these sort of forensic cell phone extractions?
I was first trained with cell phone extractions in 2016. So I've been working on phones as my primary job now.
This
for,
defendant better admit via text message that he unalived her or something.
To be able to do this particular job.
So I've done several different types of trainings. The program that I use is called Cellbrite, and the Cellbrite company has several trainings. A lot of my training is through them. There are also other law enforcement companies that will do various types of cell phone training classes, which I've attended. The majority of the classes that I've taken have been a mixture of in-person or online. They've been
Yeah,
a
next month
combination of
apparently.
book learning
Slidey
and
pie.
practical exercises throughout the class, and then the ones that have a final exam, I've taken the final exam and passed each class that I've taken.
And have you ever testified previously as an expert in the field of forensic cell phone extraction and analysis?
I have.
I plugged the phone in and I hit the button. That's the training.
I've testified as an expert 67 times at the district, circuit, and federal court levels.
Your Honor, I pass the witness at this time for any more years your expertise.
No question.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would just ask for Detective Markle to be certified as an expert in the field of forensic cell phone extraction and analysis.
Based on their education, training, and experience, I'll call the mayor as an expert as to forensic cell phone extraction and analysis.
And Detective Markle, let's talk about this process just sort of from step one. When you have a phone that you're prepared to extract, do you have to have some kind of authority to do an extraction?
Yes, so the legal authority that I have to have before any work can be done on a phone is, there are three possible ways. One is the consent from the phone or device owner. One is through a search warrant signed by a judge, or three, because I work in homicide, if the owner of the phone is deceased.
And when you go to perform an extraction on a phone, do you document whether that particular device has been entered into the Detroit Police Department's evidence system?
Yes, if it has been entered into, it's called our tracker system, our evidence property system, I will include that tag number in my report.
Okay, now to actually create the copy, once that copy is generated, do you do anything with the copy?
Yes, so like I said, the copy is everything from our phones, and that's a lot of data sometimes. Some of these phones can just be very, very voluminous in size. So it's not something that I can print off. I would be 50, 60,000 on up pages. So when I'm done making that copy and putting it into a report for a review, the copy is provided to the officer in charge or the investigative team who's working the case. I also put a copy of that onto a disc, and then that disc I put into our property evidence myself.
And in terms
Again,
of-
what are these messages going to show? This data from the phone, what is it going to show?
Back in the sort of like early
My guess is
stages of
absolutely nothing.
2022.
I did.
And did you also perform some extractions last summer after the defendant was arrested?
I did.
I want to start with the earlier side of things first. I want to show you what's been marked, or rather entered as Exhibit 24 and approach, Your Honor.
Yes.
Is that device one of the devices that you performed an extraction of?
Yes, this.
And what is the evidence marker for that device indicate?
This was on tag number 31.
Okay, and what is
She
the,
just looked at a phone and said, yeah, this is the one. Like there's not billions of
The
other
description
phones
on
that
the
look
tag
just
was
like
a
that.
black cell phone belonging to Jaylin Brazier.
Now, for this particular phone, did you perform one extraction or more than one extraction?
I did more than one.
And what was the purpose for doing more than one extraction?
So with our software program, we're always getting updates on the software, just like our phone gets a lot of updates. Our phone gets updates. A manufacturer may produce another phone, the latest model of the phone. So my programs are also always playing catch up with the new phones or with the new updates to the phones. So as I get updates, there is a potential to try to get additional evidence that may have been limited before. I may be able to get a more thorough copy a second time, or however many times it takes. As updates come out, if it's something that may be fitting for that specific
I want to give
phone,
this woman a
then I
quarter
can
so
always
she
try
can
again.
take a bus downtown and have a
When it
rat
comes to
gnaw
the,
that thing off your face.
the report that you're able to generate for purposes of a device extraction, are you familiar with something called a device information report?
Yes,
And what is a device information report?
that is the first page, maybe 2 pages of each device. And on that device information sheet, that's just the preliminary information about the device. So that's going to give me the make and model, phone number, just the very basic information about the phone that is connected to the computer.
Wow. Yeah.
Holding what's been marked as proposed.
That
exhibit
mole is
32
distracting.
and approach, Your Honor. Sure.
I feel like she's been picking at it. It looks red.
Marco, what is proposed
Yeah.
exhibit
Oh,
32?
holy moly.
This is that device information.
Was that
sheet
an
for
intended
the,
pun?
Cell phone that was
Yeah.
on evidence tag number 31.
Okay, and if you were to go back into Celebrate, the software that you use, and try to generate that same report today, would that be in substantially in the same condition as that document that you're holding that's marked as proposed exhibit 32?
Yes, it would.
And that just provides, again, just basic information about the device.
Correct.
Your Honor, I move to admit proposed exhibit 32.
No.
And may I publish?
Yes.
I just wanted to hop on for a minute and yell at the witnesses. I'm going to jump off.
Okay. No worries. Thanks for
Take care,
hopping in.
guys.
Later.
Okay, so just looking at exhibit 32, if you scroll down to the section entitled device information, is there a particular area where we can see
Oh,
what the phone
boy.
number is that was associated with this device?
Yeah, so if you see, say about halfway down the screen, the MSISDN, the phone number to the device that was extracted is listed there.
And what is that phone number?
313-575-3450.
Okay, and if we go to what's been admitted as exhibit 19, is that the same one of the
Fox 2 Michigan is using a trial version of Live Stream Studio to broadcast this. Boy, they are really professional. It's watermarked.
numbers that's on this document?
It is.
Oh,
And are you familiar with something also called a device
I thought that
event
was on my
report
end or
Yeah.
your end or
generated using
something.
Celebrate?
Yes.
And what sort of information can be obtained from a device event report?
So it's just how it sounds, it's the events of the device, so that can show when the display is on, when the phone is turned on, if the phone is turned off, if the phone has been factory reset, place, any type of event, device event that happens to that particular phone.
Okay, and what is, you mentioned a factory reset. What is a factory reset of the phone?
Now, factory reset is a complete reformatting of the phone. So it's something that if we get a new phone and we factory reset, or the store may say they're going to factory reset our phone, that's to permanently delete the information from the device so that, for example, if we're turning an old phone in, nobody can access the personal information that was on that device prior to turning it in. So it is a complete reformatting of that phone.
Yeah, I checked
And
the
once
actual
factory
YouTube
reset is done
video, and it's on there as well.
The
I'm
software
streaming
that
from.
you use, Celebrate, recover any data from before the factory reset.
No, the factory reset is that reformatting, and it's a permanent, unrecoverable feature in the phones.
And what do you have to do on a phone in order to do a factory reset? Is it something that can happen inadvertently by clicking something, or does it require specific input?
I think it's cause for speculation on how somebody might particularly manipulate the phone or do something on the phone. It could be a case by case basis. I don't think she would be in a position to testify to how somebody could do it if it's inadvertently or purposeful.
65 a month
Sure.
per seat.
How many phones have you extracted throughout your career? Can you give us a ballpark?
I've been averaging somewhere between 1,500 and 2,200 phones a year for the past several years. So I've extracted many thousands.
And in your
Yeah, I saw
experience
that.
extracting many thousands of phones, have you come across phones that have been factory reset before?
I have.
And having come across phones that have been factory reset, have you ever familiarized yourself with the sort of methods it might take in general to conduct a factory reset on a phone?
Yes.
Is that something that can be done by accident?
Objection. I still believe this goes to speculation on whether or not somebody accidentally or could accidentally factory reset their phone. I don't believe she's in a position.
Overall, she's testified that she's learned how to do it, so I presume that she testified.
So a factory reset requires a few different steps from a person who is resetting the phone. It's not something where you could accidentally hit a button. For example, if there are a few different ways to do it, it's a factory reset with the device itself is in the settings section. And typically your phones will, if you hit factory reset, it's going to ask you at least a couple of times, are you sure you want a factory reset? Are you sure you want to do this? The other way is it can be done through a remote app. If you have, for example, a cloud account, you can log into an iCloud account and you can send that remote wipe or remote factory reset from a different device to the phone that you are trying to reset. But again, that also takes the credentials for that account. And then if you have the credentials for that account to do it remotely, then you have to go through the same series. It will ask you, are you sure? And the 2 or 3 steps to do that is to hopefully ensure that it's not done accidentally.
And I'm holding what's been marked as people's proposed exhibit 33. May I approach her? Sure. Detective, what is people's proposed exhibit 33?
This is from the device event section from the phone extraction, and on this line there are 5 items listed.
Okay, and is that from the report from the same phone that we've been talking about, the Samsung that was on that's been admitted as exhibit 24?
Yes.
And if you were to go into the overall Celebrate report again for that phone today and try to generate a device event report, would it look substantially the same as that document that you're holding in your hands?
It would.
Your Honor, I move to admit proposed exhibit 33.
The only objection would be how would, I know she generated this report, but how would she indicate that this particular report is from the same phone that is indicated in Exhibit 32? The Exhibit 33 doesn't have any distinguishing characteristics that would lead somebody to believe or even acknowledge what phone this particular report was generated from.
Well, I think that goes to the visibility.
Right, and she testified that it came from the same phone. I mean, there's a reason we can't present a 1,000,000-page document in court.
Right, and this is, what's the title of this document?
Device event report exhibit 33, Your Honor. May I publish?
Yeah.
And Detective, if we look at the first event that is listed here, is there a way to determine the time of that event?
Yes,
And what is the date and time?
that is January 7th, 2022 at 3:04 p.m.
And is there any information we can glean about the type of event at that time?
Yes, if I move left to right, the next line where it says wipe is the event type. The line next to that is factory reset, which indicates that that is a wipe of the phone through a factory reset. And the column over that next is the additional info. It was a master clear confirm that the factory reset did take place, and then the wipe trigger is what triggered that. So it was wiped locally by a user, indicating that it was not something that was done remotely. It was locally. And then the source is just the source file. You see the Samsung recovery log, where that is able to recover that particular event when the wipe took place.
And how would this event impact your ability to obtain information off of that device from January 4th and January 5th of 2022?
So prior to any information prior to this factory reset would not be recoverable from that device. It would be wiped, reformatted, and the extraction would not be able to get that data from the prior dates.
And did you also familiarize yourself with the web search history of this particular device?
I did.
And is web search history something that in general you can obtain when doing a forensic extraction of a cell phone?
Yes, generally, like I said before, there's always limitations, but the goal is to get all of the data from the phone and make that full and complete copy. And that does include on the phones the web history, the internet searches, that type of thing.
Okay, and I'm holding what's been marked as proposed exhibit 34. May I approach, Your Honor? Sure. Does proposed exhibit 34, is that a report also that comes from this specific phone that was admitted as exhibit 24?
It does.
And is that a report of the web search activity that you were able to extract from that device?
Yes, this is contains line 254 lines from the search items section of the phone.
Okay, and what are the date ranges, or what is the date range sort of in that report?
So there is a few without date range, without dates. There is one line for a Google Map app from 2014. That's something that would be in the phone with the Google Maps. And then the rest of this search history is from January 7th, 2022 through January 17th, 2022.
Okay, so that would be after the point of the factory reset going forward, would that be correct?
Correct.
And again, if you were to go into the overall report for this phone today and generate the search history report again, would it look substantially similar to the document that you're holding in your hand that's been marked as proposed exhibit 34?
Yes, it would.
With that, I would move to admit proposed exhibit 34.
Just a similar objection to my last objection. I just don't know how this particular witness is in a position to, first of all, authenticate this particular list. It doesn't have any distinguishing characteristics to lead her to believe what particular phone this came from. She did testify that she's done over 1,500 phone extractions per year. So how would she be in a position to know that this particular phone extraction relates to the preferred phone?
Hello. I just wanted to come in. I had like a thought. So, no, based off of what Mads is saying as well. Like, okay, so we don't have any direct evidence that he intentionally or even accidentally caused her unaliving, right? But he hides the fact that she was there in the first place, lies to people about it, destroys the ring, or not destroys, but deletes the ring camera, restarts or resets his phone, and tries to cover up that fact. I think that enough is going to convict him of at least second-degree unaliving. Now, could it be lesser included of manslaughter? Sure. But
Okay.
I mean, I have doubt, and I even have reasonable doubt. But I still am like, if I'm sitting on this jury, I feel like I might convict, and so I'm going to say guilty. That's it. I
Okay.
just wanted to say that. I think he's guilty. All right, I'm gonna jump
Okay.
off now.
All right. Thank you.
It was too long for a message chat.
That's fair. No worries. Later.
I mean, she testified that, but however, this particular exhibit, there is no characteristics on there that would identify which particular phone it was extracted from. It's just information. So how would she know that this particular extraction didn't come from another phone opposed to the phone that is purported to come from?
And Your Honor, again, he has all of these phone dumps. He knows exactly where they come from. And to suggest that this isn't what it is purporting to be, I think is entirely misleading. And if the court wants me to put in the entire phone dump, I guess we can spend another couple of months, going through that line by line. And may I publish, Your Honor? And the one thing I would ask, Detective, is that particular document that you're holding, does that have some redactions in it for some content that you understand to be inadmissible in court?
No, I don't see any reduction.
That was redacted. Just want to make sure everything. Your Honor, could we approach briefly? I'm sorry. Sure. Okay, and Your Honor, just for the record, I'm publishing a redacted version of Exhibit 34. And Detective, I'm going to hand this back to you, and I want to walk through this document briefly with you. Just starting with row 1, can you give us just a sense of how this is structured? What sort of basic information do we get from each row of data in this report?
Yeah, so on row 1, that first line is just a numbering index that is put in there by Cellbrite to make it easier to reference each number so that we can say what line to look at. The next is the timestamp. That's where the date and time the search took place. The line after that is the source. So you'll see the internet browser, or the line 2, you see the Play Store. So it's just the source of where that search was done. The next line where it says value is the search itself. So in line 1, Greyhound bus station.
Take this quarter.
The keyword or topic.
Go downtown and have a rat gnaw that thing off your face.
Through the Play Store. And so that's just
And resist.
how the search is done, or the method of the search.
Okay, and there's about a dozen or so searches that I want to ask you about, starting with line 299. I'm sorry, I got the wrong. Starting with 224.
That's fair.
What is the what's the date and time of that search?
224 is January 9th, 2022 at 5:12 p.m.
And what was the search value?
How does the authorities pull up last known call info?
And you see where it indicates yes. What does that reflect?
The red yes in the farthest column on the screen indicates that it was deleted line
That's
and
fair.
recovered through the extraction.
Okay, and then if we scroll up to 198. I'm sorry, let's start with 200. What's the date and time of that search?
200 is January 10th, 2022 at 2:46 p.m.
And what's the value of the search?
The search says, does acid show on a drug test?
And how about 199? What's the date and time of that search?
199 was also on January 10th, 2022 at 2:58 p.m. And the search is for what happens your body if you drink peroxide.
And I want to move further up to 127. What's the date and time of that search?
January 12th, 2022 at 10:21 p.m.
And what's the value of that search?
How to tell if you're being watched by police.
And how about 124? What is the date and time of that search?
You know, would it be? I feel like they could have done a little. They could have made this a lot neater. Just gotten the text they wanted played. They don't need to like scroll around. It's just cumbersome. It's not a good presentation.
124 is on January 12th, 2022 at 10:22 p.m.
And what's the value of that search?
How to tell if there's a stakeout on your property.
I want to move up further to row 51. What is the date and time of that search?
It is January 15th, 2022 at 10:31 a.m.
And what is the value of that search?
Why haven't I been arrested if I'm being investigated?
Okay. What?
How about row 48?
Awkward.
What is the date and time of that search?
That is January 15th, 2022 at 11:39 a.m.
And what is the value of that search?
How much Motrin can kill you?
And how about the next one, line 47? What is the date and time of that search?
January 15th, 2022, 12:25 p.m.
And what is the value of that search?
How does the FBI satellite find people?
And how about row 46? What is the date and time of that search?
Also January 15th, 2022 at 12:35 p.m.
And what is the value of that search?
Can putting a toaster in the bath kill you?
And how about line 44? What is the date and time of that search?
January 15th, 2022 at 12:41 p.m.
And what is the value of that search?
What happens when you report someone to the FBI?
And how about row 43? What is the date and time of that search?
January 15th, 2022 at 12:41 p.m. And that is what happens if you put a fork in an outlet.
And we go up now to row 3. What is the date and time of that search?
3 is January 16th, 2022 at 2:59 p.m.
And what is the value of that search?
Celebrate.
And again, what is Celebrate?
Celebrate is the software program that I use for the phone extractions.
And that's something that law enforcement uses?
Correct.
And in this, the totality of this report, did you observe any search activity about why a otherwise healthy teenager might suddenly die?
I didn't see anything along those lines.
Now, in addition to search activity, is it possible during your extractions to get a report of the full web history from the device?
Yes.
And what's the difference between search history on one hand and web history on the other hand?
So the search history is If you go to Google and you type in the search bar and you're looking for something, that is what you're searching. The web history is, if you were to click on one of the links from your searches, you can click on the link and look at that page, whether it be a store, social media site, a news outlet, anything, whatever the link is that you click on is the web history.
And is it possible at times to retrieve deleted web history?
It is.
And did you have an opportunity to look at the web history associated with this particular device that we've been talking about, the Samsung that's been admitted as proposed exhibit, I'm sorry, not proposed exhibit 24, but rather exhibit 24?
Yes.
And did you look at both a full report of that web history and a report of that web history that was limited to just deleted content?
Yes, I look at the web history in the phone. The deleted is included in the full.
Okay. And is it your understanding that that history is contained on this disc that I'm holding that's been marked as proposed exhibit 35?
Yes.
It's on a disc because it's quite lengthy, is that correct?
Correct.
And again, if you were to go into Celebrate again for this specific extraction and generate a web history report, would it look like this, the documents that are on this exhibit that's marked as proposed exhibit 35?
It would.
With that, I move to amend proposed exhibit 35.
Okay. All right, so then-
And may I publish, Your Honor?
yes.
Okay, and just for the record, I'm gonna just open up the document mark 35 full. And so again, Detective Markle, what is, we're not obviously gonna go through each line by line here, but this particular report, what sort of information can we get from this in general?
So we're at the top where it says web history. You see over 15,000 line items. So those are the total line items. When we're looking at the page,
I got a Cellbrite report for a trial that we recently watched, or that was streamed. Hannah Gutierrez read all her text messages. I've been organizing them for a stream. It's taken me like 6 weeks. These things are such a jumble and such a mess, and I think you need to tidy it up to show to the jury because it's just not looking good.
down like on line 1, you see the URL, and that's the site that was accessed. So right below that, the email.uber.com is the actual URL of the site. The last visited is the last time that page was visited. And then over to the left, the source. So you see where it says Gmail. So this was a Gmail account. This information came from the Gmail.
And if we go to the report on exhibit 35, it just is limited to the deleted content. And so again, how many items are located in this report?
So on this narrowed down report, there are at the very top there shows you how many line items, and in this document there are 625.
And you see the far column where it says deleted. Is there anything, I guess, significant about all of these items when it comes to that column?
Just that these are the deleted items.
Okay.
So it can be filtered in the Cellbrite report to include the entire history or include only deleted. Or there are different features of sorting and filtering in the overall report.
And I just want to ask about a few of these rows. If you look at row number 1, what is the information that's reflected in row number 1?
So the title.
And would that be a title of like a specific web page?
Yeah, it's the title of the page that was accessed.
Okay. And what is the title of that page?
Can the police track our call list if we delete the call history from our phone?
Okay. And what was the date that particular web page was visited?
The last visited was January 9th, 2022 at 5:13 p.m.
And if we go to row number 7, what information does that give us?
That page was titled, "How do the police get someone's call history?"
And what was the date and time that was visited?
I will say some of these reading text messages, like after a crime has been committed or like right before, putting it into context is really fascinating.
January 9th, 2022 at 5:12 p.m.
Hey, Ghostry,
And,
how are you?
How about row number 9? What's the title of that specific webpage that was visited?
Can the police listen to a previous phone call?
And what was the date and time of that particular browsing activity?
January 9th, 2022 at 5:12 p.m.
Okay. Now, as part of the extractions that you did in this case, did you also extract a cell phone that belonged to someone by the name of Katrina Smith?
I did.
And I'm holding what's been marked as People's Proposed Exhibit 36. May I approach her?
Yes.
What is Proposed Exhibit 36?
This is the 2-page document, and this is the device information sheet with the basic summary of information from the phone belonging to Katrina Smith.
Okay, and again, if you were to go into the full extraction report from that phone today, and again, just generate that device information, would that be in substantially the same condition as that document is in that's marked as Proposed Exhibit 36?
It would.
And does that provide the phone number for that specific phone?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, I move to admit Proposed Exhibit 36.
Objection.
And may I publish? Okay, and if we look at the device information for that particular phone, is there a, where can we see the phone number for that device?
So that the MSISDN provides the phone number.
And is that this number here that I'm circling ending 7046?
Yes.
And just to be clear, I want to ask about a couple of items. If I go to Exhibit 83, which has already been admitted, if we look at this, these numbers in rows 80 and 79, can you see the numbers reflected up there?
Yes.
Is that the same number?
It is.
Okay. And so just want to look at other. Sorry, 1 second.
Take your time. We're hourly.
What's been admitted as People's Exhibit 52. Do you see some phone numbers in these two file names?
Yes, I do.
And would that be the same number again?
It is.
Okay. I also want to show you what has
Sharpie doesn't
been
have any porn on the computer.
already admitted as Exhibit 37. May I approach Your Honor? And is this a set of text messages?
It is.
And would that set of text messages come from this phone that we've been discussing, the extraction of Ms. Smith's phone?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And just to be clear, that if we go down to page 29, do you see a message in blue kind of toward the middle of that page?
Yes.
And what does that message say?
The message reads, Nyla scratched my neck.
And in terms of like I guess the timing surrounding that message, where does that information come from?
I'm not sure I understand.
The data that we see surrounding this message, like you see where it says 2:21 a.m.
Yes.
Essentially. What's the source of that sort of data?
So this was an incoming text message. The top left-hand corner where you see from.
His cat,
the
I believe.
sender, of this message. So the sender with the phone number and then the contact name after that It's an outgoing to the phone belonging to Ms. Smith.
And I guess what I'm asking is when you do your extraction and you're able to get messages like the ones we're looking at here, does that include the date and times that the messages were sent or received?
Yes.
Okay, and so that information that we're seeing here in connection with the timing, is that something that comes directly from the phone itself?
Yes.
Okay. As part of your role in this case, I'm holding what's been admitted as Exhibit 85. Can I approach your honor?
Yes.
Does that particular phone look familiar to you?
Well,
Yes, it does.
And,
the state is saying that
another phone that you
it was
extracted in connection with this case?
It is.
scratch he
And,
got from
what is the
fighting with
what is that evidence tag associated with that phone?
This is was placed on evidence tag number 32.
Zion.
Okay, and what is the evidence description?
But then he says
An
it was
Apple iPhone belonging to Zion, second phone.
Okay. And I want to ask you about a couple of things in connection with that phone. First, I'm holding what's been marked as proposed exhibit 67. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
What is proposed exhibit 67?
This is the device information sheet, same as with the other phones. This just contains that summary or basic information about each device.
Okay, and again, if you were to go into the
Thank you.
overall report associated
I had that mind
with
blank.
the extraction from this phone that's been admitted as exhibit 85, and pull just that basic device information, would you be able to generate a document that looks pretty much the same as that document that you're holding in your hand?
Yes.
With that, I move to admit proposed exhibit 67.
No, yeah, no.
And may I publish? Okay, and just looking at this particular data, do you see the Apple ID?
it's
What
no
was the
body
Apple ID for this particular phone?
Rachel
Homicide
Zion
trial.
04 at gmail.com.
in Michigan.
And I'm also holding what's been marked as proposed exhibit 68. May I approach her? What would be proposed exhibit 68?
This
Sure.
is one item from the contacts section from the same Apple iPhone.
Okay, and is there a name associated with that contact?
Yes.
And what is the name associated with that contact?
Favoo, Favoo.
And is there a phone number associated with that specific contact?
Yes.
And what is the phone number?
313-575.
It's more than just a no body case, Salvador.
Okay, and would that be, looking at exhibit 19, would that be the same number here?
So distant. The
So that number came from.
now we could talk over this because it doesn't
it was
matter.
on Zion's
The
phone
defendant
under
is
the contact
the
correct?
cousin of the victim.
Favoo, yes.
Okay,
The
and that
defendant is
report that
being
you're holding
accused of
is marked
second
as
degree
proposed
unaliving of his
68. If you
cousin.
were to go
He
back and
initially
pull
said that
extraction
he didn't see
today to
her,
try to
what she wasn't
pull
around.
report
Then
showing
he
that
later admits that
agent
she died
contact
at his
of
home, but he
something like
panicked
that.
because they were doing drugs
With
and he
that, I
dumped
move
her
to
body in a
exhibit
dumpster.
68.
Then
May I publish again?
then he was charged and pled guilty to lying to investigators during where they
Okay,
were
yeah, so
looking
just
for
looking
the
at this really
victim.
quickly, we have a name
They still
here,
don't have a
again,
body,
just
and they
to
don't really have any
recognize
evidence of
like
cause of death. Although the victim
okay, and the
did
number
have
associated with it.
seizures,
313-575.
which caused her to pass out from time to time, and that might have contributed to it. Basically, there's no evidence as to how this woman died,
You
just
have an
that he
opportunity to,
disposed of the body after the fact.
look
So
through text messages
he's
on
being
that
charged
phone
with
to
making the
determine whether
body
there are any
disappear
messages
and
with that
also
particular
killing her,
contact.
but there's no evidence that he killed
And
her.
I'm holding what's been marked as proposed exhibit 69. May I approach?
Yes.
There, I
that
did your
binder
job
that's been
for
marked
you,
as proposed
Salvador.
Exhibit 69.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
You see, I'm not going to ask you to read through the entire thing, but is it your understanding that that contains a report of the sort of messages on this phone with that contact, Fabo?
Yes.
and with that specific number, the 313-575-3450.
Yes.
And again, if you were to go back into that overall phone extraction today and try to search for contacts, search for communications with that contact, would you get a report that looks substantially similar to that set of that report that you have that's been marked as proposed exhibit 69?
Yes.
With that, I move to admit proposed exhibit 69.
Okay. It's moved.
And may I publish or not?
Probably not the whole thing.
I am going to ask you about a handful of the communications in here.
I always thought it was kind of difficult.
Again, just
but
looking at the first page, what does this sort of tell us about the participants to these messages?
And so the those first couple lines there just list the participants. The top is the phone number and the contact name, Favo, and then right below that you see the Rochelle Zion email account and Zion Foster, and then it says right next to that the owner. So the owner of this particular account was Zion Foster.
And what does it tell us about how many messages there are in total?
In just this conversation, there are 4,225 messages.
And what would be the starting date of the messages if you look at this first message?
That is November 2nd, 2020 at 9:38 a.m.
Okay, and if we go down to the final page, and hopefully you'll be able to see it on the screen, so you don't have to open the binder all the way up. What would be the date and time of the final message?
December 31st, 2021 at 5:44 p.m.
Okay, and if we are just to orient ourselves, what does the green signify? If a message is in green, is there anything conclusion we can draw from that?
The green indicates an outgoing, and then blue is an incoming. So if it is green, it came from the account belonging to Zion Foster.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you to turn to page 18 of the messages.
Just be easier if I look at the screen.
Fair enough, yeah. Can you look at this middle message in green? What's the date and time of that message?
That's November 9th, 2020 at 11:48 a.m.
And what's the content of the message say?
Can you take me to work, TD?
And is this an incoming or outgoing message?
This is an outgoing.
Okay, and then if we scroll down, what's the response?
The response is the incoming in blue. The response reads, where is that?
Okay, and then if we go down to the next page, what's the next message in blue?
That is. Do you want me to read the?
Yeah, read
those are the date and time.
Read the substance of the message.
Where the hell is your mama, bro?
And what is the I guess the date and time of that?
November 9th, 2020 at 11:50 a.m.
And if we go down further to the next page, do you see this message in blue? How does that read?
What's your address?
And what's the response?
22166 Melrose Court, East Point, Michigan 48021.
And what's the date and time of that?
Hey, Gabby, how you doing?
November 9th, 2020 at 11:52 a.m.
Great to see you here.
Okay. I want to
Lefty.
skip ahead to page 89 and 90. Sorry, 1 second. If you look at 89, what's the top message in blue say?
As in, what is the plan? Is somebody bringing you a fucking plan B?
And what's the next message say?
You're running out of time.
And what are the dates of these messages?
December 19th, 2020.
And just gonna continue to scroll down a little bit. So this green message in the middle of page 93, what's that say?
OMG, guess what?
And what's the date of this
OMG.
message?
December 28th, 2020.
And what's the response?
What happened?
And what's the, I guess, follow-up message after that?
I hope you're okay.
And what's the then outgoing response?
Yes is the top one.
And the bottom one?
And then it came today.
And then if we go down to page 96, what's the top message say?
I'm talking AB, my period.
And is that the same date as the prior messages?
Yes, December 28th.
I want to go down to page 117. Sorry, yeah, 117. What's this blue message at the bottom read?
LMK, if you don't have shit to do later, I'll bring some more read.
And what was the date of that message?
January 1st,
Hey, Luna.
2021.
How you doing, hon? Yeah.
I want to scroll down to
How you doing, Luna?
page 265. So actually starting on 264, in this green message, I know that the image is kind of small here, but were you able to view that image more close up?
I was.
And what is that image?
That is, appears to be a woman's vagina with several markers stuck inside.
And that was an outgoing message?
It was.
What?
And what was the date of that message?
What?
February 4th, 2021.
And
What?
what was
What?
the
Wait.
Appears
Okay. Whoa. Crap.
message to that?
Okay. I'm gonna skip forward because
message
it kind of
and
showed it
it-
there.
And what was the response received
Okay,
to that?
Bro, I'm not
Awful.
even going to open that shit.
And what was the follow-up message
Thank you,
there?
Distant.
Those are 2 more images.
Okay, and those were incoming messages to the phone?
Yes,
And have those been redacted?
they have been.
It was a very tiny, like, screenshot or icon, but it was still there. It wasn't blurred or anything.
And what's the follow-up message starting at the top on page 266?
Now we're both scared.
Well,
and
let me
hurt.
get David and my channels yeeted.
And then the next message?
That reads, I hate you.
Yeah, it's literally.
And that is a laugh at I hate you. So you can tag a message with an emotion. And in this case, laugh.
Okay, and again, what's the date on that?
February 5th, 2021.
I'm gonna move to page 322. What's the message at the top of page 322 say?
I'm about to be big single.
And what's the date of that message?
March 27th, 2021.
And what's the response?
Why?
And what's the next message read?
Bitches whores.
And what are the responses?
The first response reads shitty. The second response reads I'm OMW home.
And then it appears there's a response where what does sort of this mean when we see this type of message?
I think there was a response, some type of an attachment. Could be at the very end. You see where it says .jpeg, so photo attachment.
But was it able to be retrieved in the extraction?
No.
And then if we keep going and we're on page 324 now, it appears there's some follow-up exchanges. Is that correct?
Yes,
And are we on the same date as before?
yes.
And what's the top message say here on the top of page 325?
How long are you gonna be up?
And what's the response?
A while?
And then what's the next message indicate?
All right, I'm making this bitch wanna kill herself.
And then what's the response to that?
You awful.
And what's the follow-up to that?
I'm gonna get to slanging my meat at my freak bitches again.
Again, are we on the same date?
Yes.
And what's the next message after that?
Honestly, I'm about to hurt AFRN. I'm gonna need some head or something.
And again, what's the date of that one?
March 27th, 2021.
If we scroll down, what's the message in the middle of page 327 say?
I'll save you the weed I sent.
Well, I guess there shouldn't be any secrets kept from family.
If we go to page 329, what's the blue message at the bottom say?
This little freak about to gobble me.
What's the date of that?
March 28th, 2021.
And what's the response to that?
It reads whore behavior.
And the follow-up?
I love it.
If we start at the top of 331, what's the message say at that point?
You already know.
And the next message?
What time you gonna be free?
Again,
Of
what's
course,
the
I'm the
dates
one that
and
has to
messages?
deal with
These
this.
are March 28th, 2021.
Gobble.
We scroll down to page 235.
Oh, this is amazing.
What's the top message read on the top of page 335?
Your mom not about
Yeah.
to be mad at me bringing you drugs with
Yeah, I think
question
they're like
marks.
And what's the date of that message?
step cousins or something.
That is also March 28th, 2021.
And what's the response?
She not here.
And the follow-up?
Oh, all right. I'll roll when I get there then.
I want to scroll down to page 374.
It just happens.
So
I was really trying to rebrand to get away from Mark
look at,
Jensen
let's
content.
look at 372 toward the middle. What's the middle message in green say?
That says he said he don't want none to do with him.
And what's the date on that?
April 12th, 2021.
And then it appears later on there's kind of a correction. Is that
Yes.
indicated? So me is kind of asterisk.
Yeah,
next to it.
usually from my experience, when you see a word and a bunch of asterisks with it, that is because there was a typo or spelling error in the previous text. And that's the corrected word.
And so what's the next message say after that?
He don't want none to do with me.
Okay. And then what's the follow-up message say?
Like
And what's the response?
girl, fuck that. You're beautiful and smart as fuck. Yes, you're a problem, and obviously that's just what it is. RN.
And what's the date of that message?
That is April 12th, 2021.
Okay. I want to scroll down to page 432. What's the message at the middle of 432 say?
Like, yeah, you're pretty and all.
And what's the date of that message?
April 23rd, 2021.
And what's the sort of edited version of the next message?
Say it.
I edited.
Without the N word.
Say it. Ah!
But these be on your nuts.
And what's the tone of that message?
You're scrolling too fast.
I'm sorry.
April 23rd, 2021.
Prosecutor's like, no, do not say it. No, do not say it.
And
please, for the love of God.
What's the response to that?
That is IDK. They like.
You know, Mark Richards would have just said it himself.
They like that I'm mean.
And what's the next message after that?
A pimp named Zion out here, FR.
Again, is that the same day?
It is.
It was inward on your nuts. Except there was the word.
I'll move to page 546.
I know.
What's this top message on 546A?
Bro, I'm gonna kick my BM out my MF house.
And what's the date of that message?
May 3rd, 2021.
And what's the follow-up message say?
This bitch swear everybody want to fuck me or I'm just giving dick out.
And what's the follow-up message say after that?
Like I can't if I want to.
And what is the response to that?
The top line is, but they do. And the next is, and you are.
And what's the next message say?
That reads, that's not the point.
And how about the next message?
It be who she thinking I'm fucking want to fuck on me.
And the next message?
Like, are you crazy like that? FR question marks.
God, spice it up, woman.
And
I need to try to get the Cellbrite report.
I want to go down or up to page 551. What's that top message say?
That says, and bro, I'm about to tell you something that's going to blow your mind because how out of fucking pocket it is.
And what is the date and time of that message?
That is May 3rd, 2021 at 11:30 p.m.
And what's the response?
WTF she do.
And what's the next message say?
Tell me why, while talking to my BM, I found out that her, my mom, and Nailima think we be, been, and or were or will do some shit. Like this, and the N-word done had a full-on conversations about it apparently. All because you're pretty and we talk often and aren't related. Like, bruh, need fucking therapy because why MFS making these movies up in they heads.
What's the date of that message?
May 3rd, 2021.
And the follow-up?
Like Zion.
And the next message?
What the fuck?
And the next message?
Fuck with AQ.
And what's the response? What's the extent that it's visible?
Reads, I did not like that.
And the response after that?
FAUQ.
And the response after that?
I did not like that.
And what was the next message?
Like throw the whole family away.
And the next message?
And my BM has some kind of oddball ass jealousy thing with you. Like, bitch, why?
And the next message?
My girl doesn't even think no shit like that.
And are these all on the same date, May 3rd?
They are.
2021?
Yes, they are.
I want to go down to page 582. Toward the bottom of page 582, what date are we looking at with this blue message?
This is May 6th, 2021.
And what's the message say?
Zion, I'm a god.
And what's the response?
That reads, bro.
And the next message?
My BM gets TF away from me when my baby over. She can hit the living room or basement.
My baby mama,
And the
maybe?
next message?
And my girl knows everything she needs.
She needs.
No.
Okay. And the next message?
And my BM ate her coochie, so there's that.
And what are the responses?
The first is just an I, and then the
All right,
next
Calvin.
one says, bro, ain't no way.
And then the response to that?
First one is on my kids.
And what's the follow-up response?
Second is, I can really do what I want if I choose.
And are these all the same day again, May 5th of 2021?
May 6th of
I'm sorry, May
2021.
6th of 2021. I want to go to page 603. So, actually 602, what's the bottom message here say?
The Wi-Fi is gonna be slower because my bill is coming up. I'm sorry.
What's the date of that?
May 18th, 2021.
And what's the response to that?
It's okay.
And what's the next message say?
That says, do you want me to run you a shower?
Is that the same date?
Yes, May 18th, 2021.
And what's the response to that?
Nah, it's okay. I'll do it.
And if you go down to the bottom of page 604, what's that blue message say?
I think my AirPods are on the table if you think you need to use them.
I want to go down to page 619. What's the top message in blue say?
It says, hey, can I use your iCloud as my recovery account? Making a new scam account.
And what's the date of this message?
And that's May 18th, 2021.
And what's the next blue message say?
I'll definitely send you some $sign when it gets going.
And is there a follow-up message?
Yes, message reads, what's the info?
And what's the response to that?
The email account is the response, RochelleZion04@gmail.com.
And Judge, can I approach this briefly? Sure.
Page 620, what's the next message say?
I need the password.
And what's the response?
Oh, and then
And then after that,
Israel 29 exclamation point.
Sweet. Now I know his
and
password.
The next message.
If this is your main iCloud, you'll get a code in a minute.
And what's the next blue message say after that?
IDK if the password is wrong or I'm not doing it right.
How about at the top of 624? What's it say?
Okay, you should get a code.
And the response?
226067.
And the next blue message?
Cool.
We'll move to page 630. Let's go to 629. What's the top blue message say?
That says, what did she say?
And what date are we at here?
May 18th, 2021.
And what are the responses?
The top line reads, just shit like. The next one, why did you leave?
And the next messages?
Top line is, why are you running away? Next one, do you not want to be with me? And the next one after that is, it just made me feel guilty.
And what's the response to that in blue?
That says, it's manipulation, don't fall for it. Next says, at all. And after that, stay where you are.
I'm going to move to 646. What's the top message say?
Can we sit in the car and hit the rest of this joint? They're fucking stressing me out over here.
What's the date of that message?
May 19th, 2021.
And what's the follow-up message?
I need escape.
And what's the response?
I'm out getting food, but after, sure.
And what's the next message say in blue?
That top line says what's going on.
And the next message?
The next, do you want to just come over? Because I'm a be taking Katrina to work soon.
And again, what is the date of these messages?
That is May 19th, 2021.
I want to scroll down to 661. What's the message in blue up at the top of that page read?
OMGG, WTF, did our accounts merge?
And the response?
It's edited, but you're in my iCloud.
And the response to that?
Delete.
I want to move to page 704. What's this blue message say on page 704?
And Katrina said you can always pimp out the basement at my place if need be until you're able to get your own spot, because being homeless with nothing is the worst.
What's the date of that message?
That's May 23rd, 2021.
And a follow-up message?
We understand completely.
I want to move to page 781. What's the blue message say in the middle of page 781?
Yeah, that's how DPD investigations work, but they can't just come inside, so that good.
And how about the blue message on 782?
So if they do pop up there, OFC, I'm not coming in, but they will monitor the place for a few hours or that day. So be aware of cars that you don't usually see posted outside.
Yeah, go ahead and ignore that N word, sweetie.
And how about the blue message on page 783?
It can be a 48 to 72 hour thing, but the longer the report is out, the more work they'll put in it until it becomes an Amber Alert.
What is the date of these messages?
May 26th, 2021.
And what was the response to that message?
The message reads,
And any other response after that?
that's so freaking irritating.
And the next reply to that blue?
Your mom's trying to back you into a corner.
And how about the top of page 785?
And honestly, and I mean this, you might just have to call the police yourself and explain why you don't feel safe there and what's been going on to have them on your side already.
And the response to that? And what's the next message say?
Like, IK, you don't want to go, you don't want to do that, but it's already, but it's really go ghost, go back, or let the state get involved.
I want to move to page 788. What's the blue message in the middle read?
Man, just keep my place as your plan B, because how it's looking, you are getting out in a corner.
Again, what's the date on that?
That is May 26th, 2021.
And how about page 790, the blue message? What's the date on that?
May 26th, 2021.
And what's the content of that message say?
Oh, and have Alima delete y'all combos off Instagram and iMessage that involve what's going on.
And what are the responses to that?
FA, FA, FS with 2 asterisks.
And what's the next message read?
Legally, if they go forward with search warrant, they can take her phone's computer, etc.
In response to that?
Okay. And then tell Vertez too. And next, clear the whole convo or only get rid of some things. Next line is they left. He said they were outside his house for about for around 25 minutes.
And what's the response to that?
Yes, clear the whole conversation.
I want to move to page 996. Okay, what's the message at the top of page 996 say?
I'm getting my dick gobbled, RN.
And what's the date on that message?
June 25th, 2021.
And what's the next message say?
Like RN.
And what's the response say?
Response is bitch.
And the next message, what does that say?
Are you okay?
The next message?
And that is one of the emotion attachments that laughs at bitch.
And what's the response to that?
Yes, I wanted to know if you had crud BC. That's all I'm running off of.
And the next message?
But enjoy that. Text me when she leaves.
And the reply to that?
Bro, this bitch is ass 60 seconds in and she talking about her jaw tired and can't throat me.
Is that the same day?
June 25th, 2021.
And what's the follow-up to that message?
She's about to be outside in the rain.
Jesus.
And is there a reply to that?
Yes. First one is she's sick. Second one, she no trooper. Next one is lame as FK.
And what's the next message say?
Throat me. Okay.
As hell. I'm deleted my shit out her phone.
And the response to that?
Bro.
And,
And
the response?
not you deleting your contact information out her phone.
And what's the reply to that?
The first one is a laugh at the last message, and then the one on the bottom. I know no females that give head properly, and it's depressing.
And follow-up to that?
Like, where's the throat goats I be hearing about?
And what's the reply to that?
IDK, where you gotta look, but maybe you just gotta lower your standards, bro, because it'd be the ugly bitches.
And what's the reply to that?
I can't be saying, but no damn roach.
And if we go down to page 1003, you see the blue message here. towards the
Oh,
middle.
where's John when we need
Yes.
him?
What's that message read?
Hold on, Katrina's asking smart and word questions.
And is this the same date as the previous messages we've been reviewing here?
June 25th, 2021. Yes.
And what's the reply say?
She finna find out what you was doing, boy.
And what's the response to that?
Nah, I'm about to use manipulation LVL 3.
Want to move to page 1089. Sorry, 1086. What's the top message in blue say?
Foul AFFF.
What's the date of that message?
July 4th, 2021.
Okay, sorry, let's go back another. Missed a message. So bottom of page 1086. What's the blue message say?
Bro, I was just OTP with the girl's sister. Then she walks in and topped me up while I was OTP.
And what's the date of that message?
July 4th, 2021.
And then the
Yes.
date of that message comes right after that.
Yes.
And what's the response to that?
With her sister, question mark. And then, and did she know you were OTP with her sister?
God, I'm too weak to cover this trial.
And what's the response to that?
Yes, her sister, and no, she didn't even care to ask.
And what's the reply to
I
that?
don't think it's one
Bro,
time. Sorry.
and then you are foul. Literally.
One
And
true
what's the
Harry.
response after that?
So her sister, OTP, trying to fuck, and the other sister on demon time.
And for the response?
IDK, how I get in these predicaments.
I'll move to page 1146. go to actually 1147. What's the top message say?
I'm trying to fuck FR.
What's the date of that message?
July 29th,
I
2021.
think so.
What's the response?
I'm blocking you.
And top of the next page, what's the follow apply?
This was meant for Zaria.
And the reply to that?
Bro, change my name in your fucking next message phone.
Okay, that's all the same day.
Yes.
And
Immediately.
moving to page 1326.
He's corn pop.
Let's actually look at 1325. What's the green message for the middle of the page say?
Bitch, I look so bad.
What's the date of that message?
October 11th, 2021.
And what's the message underneath that say?
I look crazy.
Um,
I'm out the bathroom, so yeah.
and what's the follow-up message say?
MF, you always look gorgeous. One bad day is fine. Next line is, and a bitch at work, so. Next line, but fill me in later. And after that, very interesting story.
Looking at page 1435. What's the top message on that page, Reed?
What's up?
And what's the date of that message?
November 29th, 2021.
And what's the next message?
You
ask?
trying to smoke later?
And what's the reply to that?
Yeah, when I get off.
Want to go to page 1453.
Uh-oh.
And
The follow-up in green is bro.
and what's the top message on the next page say, Blue?
Man, it's beautiful.
And the reply to that?
You getting too crunk for me? I was just gonna ask, did you want to smoke and drink?
And what's the reply say?
I have weed too, but it a bit late now. Not about to be leaving the house for a grip.
And
I'm knowing.
and the
Next, YTF, you doing LSD at 5 p.m., bro?
what's the next message say?
I was bored and been getting into psychedelics, shrooms, LSD, etc. Very great experiences.
And again, the date of those messages.
December 31st, 2021.
And what's the next message say?
Top line says, Happy New Year, Zion. Love you. And I wish very great things for you. The response, I mean, if it's going good for you and you being safe, rock on, superstar. I love you too.
Is that the last message in the report?
Yes.
And as part of your role
Ah.
in this case, did you also have an opportunity to do some device
Forgot about the
inspections
mole.
after the defendant's arrest last summer?
That's what they call me. Or
And
melanoma head. They'll call me that. Melanoma head's coming.
a couple of devices.
Oh, she's got a Yeti. That's the face of a woman who had to read some shit.
Handing you what's been marked as Exhibit 60. Is that one of the devices that you extracted?
Yes.
What's the evidence number associated with that device?
The evidence tag number is tag 90.
And what's the description of that device?
It's a blue Motorola cell phone belonging to Jaylin Brazier.
And I'm holding what has been marked as proposed exhibit 70. May I approach? Is proposed exhibit 70 just another device information report for this particular device that's been emitted as exhibit 60?
Yes, it is.
And again, if you were to go into the overall extraction for that device today and generate the device information report, would it look something like proposed exhibit 70?
Yes, it would.
I move to have been proposed exhibit 70.
It's a move.
Thank you. And may I publish?
Yes.
We're almost
And,
done.
Looking at the device information report for this device, if we go to page, for the bottom of page 1, oh, I'm sorry. Is there, I guess, is there a section of the device information report where you're able to see the number associated with this device?
Yes.
And what was the number associated with this device?
It was 313-516-7046.
Okay, and is that the same number attributed to the Katrina Smith phone that we discussed previously?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And on this particular device, did you become familiar with some of the messages, the text messages with a particular phone number on this device?
Yes.
And I want to publish briefly what has been admitted as Exhibit 71. And if we look at these messages that have been admitted as Exhibit 71, what is, I guess, contained in this report? Is it messages with a specific number?
Yes, the messages under the participants is from this phone, this Motorola, and that is the other participant with the phone number ending in 6615.
Hey,
And
we're about
in
to end.
this
But
particular
everybody-
conversation thread, there are 909 messages.
Okay, and that would include, if I go to page 22, that would include this message from October 2nd of 2022, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm holding what has been marked as proposed exhibit 71A.
Mr. Elsie, it's 3:59.
Okay, just wanna.
I think it's, we have to break through today. Ladies and gentlemen, there's some things that have to be handled tomorrow morning. We're going to try to restart at 11 o'clock. Okay.
Well, David, yeah. Well, just some really interesting and spicy text messages. Kind of sexual in nature. Not, I don't know. I didn't see any. Yeah, they were step cousins. Thank you. I don't know if he was really. Oh God, David. Can't go back all the way. Like, a lot of drug use talk, complaints about not finding any throat goats, lowering his standards. There was a lot, but yeah, it was pretty funny. I thought some of them. Are you gonna cover this tomorrow morning? Let's see. Well, that was the 17-year-old that told him that. Okay, cool. Let's see. I don't think Hella's going to be, or she's not streaming today, and I doubt she'll be streaming tomorrow. She's got some family stuff going on. I don't want to talk about it without her permission, even though it's probably fine. Okay, thanks. Riddle. What do Michigan and Alabama have in common? So yeah, I'm going to end it here. But yeah, David and I will do this again tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be the last day. We've been saying that for 3 days now, but it's been a lot of fun with you guys, and I'm going to call it a day. Let's see, unless there's anything else. No? Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I just set up the redirect for that. Is it done, David? I'm redirecting to him as well. Yeah, so we're going to head over to potentially criminal Sean. Great guy. He's covering the Karen Reed trial today. He's still going, so. Yeah, well, the state can always insinuate anything. Whether or not it happened, there's no evidence of that I've seen. Okay, let me post his link then. My chat, you're going there, but I will post the link to Sean. Oh, you did, David. Okay. Oh, you can redirect now, David? Okay. Cool. Well, I'm going to end now. See you all over there. It's been a lot of fun, guys. And yeah. Toodles.
When I was young, my daddy said